Hello everyone, my name is Christina Chismar. I am a member of the Mayor's Wellness Committee as well as a certified yoga instructor. I'm also the recreation clerk administrative assistant for the borough. So let's get started. As usual, please make sure you've consulted with the physician. Make sure you have some water handy, loose fitting clothes. If you'd like, I like to go shoeless, completely up to you. Making sure you have a nice sturdy chair. And we'll get started just by coming into our space, eyes closed if you like, hands on your thighs, palms up for receiving energy, palms down to ground yourself, completely up to you. Eyes closed if you'd like. Just settling into your breath. Back's nice and straight, not leaning against the chair. Just keeping ourselves nice and together and at attention. Noticing that as you have come into this space, that your breath has started to naturally slow as you've been paying attention to it. And just making your inhales as big as you can, getting that belly nice and huge. Exhaling out of the diaphragm, out of the lungs, trying to get that belly button to your back, to your spine. In this class, we'll be getting more into joint mobility, especially during this time of the winter. I personally get a little stiff. So we will start with just opening up our sides, making our hip circles as big or as little as we like. Point here is to keep the sits bones down so you're not wiggling all over your chair. Just making those circles all the way around, lubricating those joints. Hands on the sides or on your thighs, depending on how much balance you want to work with. I like having them on the sides just to make sure my sits bones stay down. This one more this way. And then when you get back to the front, reverse your circles, getting into all corners, making sure once again that your feet are not stuck together. Widen them out. You can even tell by putting your legs together here. We always talk about separating our legs to increase our platform so we don't fall down. But even when you sit down and you have your legs together and you start making your circles, noticing that you feel wobbly. Now when you spread your knees out a little more, spread your feet out, hip width apart, how much more stable you feel. Last one in this direction. And back together. Bring your arms up overhead. Stretchy, 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 lowering them on down, getting those shoulders into your back, swinging them forward. Opening up those shoulder blades, releasing your spine, rolling them back. If this feels too awkward to you, you can always squeeze in. Point is when you're rolling your shoulders into your chest, not rolling them up to your ears just yet. Try to keep everything nice and level. If you want, putting your hands on your shoulders, squeeze and feeling it in that upper back. And now roll those shoulder blades back into your spine. Squeezing in. Bringing it back. Lowering it this time as you squeeze those shoulder blades together, rolling them back forward. Once again, try to avoid getting your shoulder blades into your earlobes. Squeezing it, nice hugs. Going back through, shoulder blades together, lowering those shoulder blades down. Squeezing it forward, releasing it slowly. Last one, squeeze it back. And holding on to it as long as you can as you lower down and then squeeze everybody back forward. And release. Swing your arms up and down, just getting all loosey-goosey. Think of yourself as a wacky wave ball inflatable art plan tube, man. Well, this is if you crack. Sorry, I didn't realize that was going to be so big. Speaking of, let's get into our next a little bit and we'll get back into the shoulders just to give it a second, just to recalibrate. So once again, shoulders stay down, starting with the center, dropping your chin down, opening up the back of your neck, Inhale, bring it to your right ear to right shoulder, keeping those shoulders down. If it doesn't touch, it's perfectly fine. This is naturally tight unless you are doing this so much. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left. Shoulder blades stay down. Exhale to center. Inhale back. Exhale center. Inhale back. Exhale center. Inhale to right. Exhale center. Inhale to the left. If it is accessible to you, start rolling your neck back, opening up your throat just enough. You don't have to hyperextend yourself back. Just opening up to keep your neck nice and long. So opening up the front here. We're trying to make sure we don't get that little rooster. And rolling it to your right. Exhaling back down. Inhaling to the left. Exhale to the back or to the front of your throat. Exhale. Inhaling to the right. Just taking your breathing as your own pace. You don't have to follow mine. I just say keep the motions nice and easy, paying attention to them. It doesn't matter how fast you go. It just matters the stretch you get. The slower it is, I find it to be harder. In the sense of it's engaging my muscles, I'm not rushing through things. That's why we don't like slingshotting. Slingshotting is how you get hurt. Last one in this direction, when we get back into our center, go into the right or the opposite way if you want left. And breathing. Inhaling. Exhale. The longer your breath is, the better. You want to just be taking all those inhales, exhaling. I used to believe that everybody was given a certain amount of breaths in the world. So each breath counted, literally. So you always want to keep your breath nice and long. They actually had, I don't want to call them monks, because they kind of took away from the monks, where they could actually slow down their heartbeat long enough to take a breath a day, pretty much. So I take a nice inhale, holding it, exhaling it out, and it became almost a contest for some people. Not yogi approved, of course. Taking your arms behind your back, interlacing your fingers, rolling those shoulder blades down, bringing yourself all the way down as far as you can. If you touch a chair, awesome. If you don't worry about it as we swing our hands over to the left side, looking over your right shoulder. I like the subtleness of this pose. It feels so good. And you can do it standing or sitting. Completely up to you. Do it in lines. You can find any. And release. Taking your fingers, interlacing them the opposite way, the uncomfortable way. Shoulders rolled back. Try to get them as far down as you can. Shoulder blades together. Over to the right side, looking to your left. Keeping your shoulders down, pulling over as far as it feels good. I actually feel this right in this part of my shoulder. I think we always think of that as the cap of the shoulder. I don't know. I'm not a nurse. I am not an expert on anatomy. Releasing hands, bring them all the way back up overhead. Big stretch. This time going into one of my other favorite shoulder stretches. Bending right elbow, grabbing your right elbow with the left hand. Trying to place your head back on your right arm. You're having your right hand in the middle of your upper back. Just stretching it in. If you can't get your head back there, that's fine. The idea is just you're opening up this section that you probably don't normally work. It helps keep your back supported because we always hunch over. This is a great counter move to keeping the integrity of your spine, of your back, and to keep those dowager humps away. Inhale, arms back overhead. Exhale, reversing the hold. Left elbow with right hand. Left hand in the middle of the upper back. Inhale, arms up overhead. I just love how that feels. Exhale, bring everybody together. We're going to try doing a jumping jack seated. I was actually reading about this. I figured it was kind of cool, seemed pretty different. Worst case is throw it out after the next class. So bringing your booty to the edge of your chair, just on the verge of falling. Bring everybody in together. Exhale, everything comes out. Big, big, wide, wide, wide. Keeping those feet down, keeping your booty on. If you're starting to slide off, that's why it's good you have your toes pointed out. Keep yourself balanced, spreading yourself out, feeling like a big starfish. Everything comes back in. And spreading back out for 2. Really pressing it back in for 3. Taking your time. If this is a lot of work for you because you feel like you're falling, slide back on the chair a little more. I just want to make sure you have the space to spread your legs out. One more time. Exhale. And back in. Do a total of 5. So we got 2 more to go. Spread it out. Back in. Spread it out. And back in. Little difference. It's fun to play. I wouldn't do that at church though. So getting into our wrists a little more, then we'll get down to our legs. So starting with your right wrist, placing palm facing me, finger down. Favorite stretch. Great for too much computers, too much phones. Starting with your pinky, just pulling it in. Or not pulling it in, pressing it in. You're letting gravity do its job as you also feel it in your wrist. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. I think I missed a finger. And when you get to your thumb, making sure you cross your hand underneath, pinky closest to palm, press it back, fingers out as best you can. If it's too much, you can always bend them in, but just making sure you can feel that stretch and it feels nice. It shouldn't feel strange, it shouldn't feel painful. This is a nice stretch. Keeping your arms up as high as you can, not all the way up, that's crazy. Just level enough to also making sure that your shoulder blades are moved forward. Switching to the left, starting with pinky and hand. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Exhaling, switch. Underneath, grabbing that thumb. And release. All 4 fingers this time, right palm facing me. Pull everybody in. Just really getting directly onto that wrist. Oops. Keep my feet spread apart. We'll get into a funny move for that one also. And flip. All 5. If you can grab your thumb, go for it. Just pulling it in. And switching to the left, all 4, pull it back. And switch it over. At least shaking it out, really rolling those wrists. And turning it the other way. Lovely. So, getting more into our legs, starting once again with the joint mobility idea. Hands on the chair for support, spreading your legs out. Think butterfly legs, trying to get your soles to touch. Sitting here, if this is good and this feels good on your hip flexors, awesome. That's my biggest important thing here. Outside of that, if you want, just coming with me, just trying to roll your feet in, coming up on the toes, bringing it all the way down to the soles of your feet, spreading them out, rolling up onto the toes, and down, spread it out, rolling up. Feels different, but it kind of feels good. And last one this direction, settling those feet in, start rolling out the other way, ending in your butterfly. Back in together, roll it up and out. Back in together, 2 more, roll it up and out, up and out. Back up. No, we are going to do squats because we should do squats every day. It's a power superfood of exercise. So rising up on your chair, making sure that when you are against it, the chair is close enough so if you lose your balance, you always have the option to fall gracefully. Otherwise, if you're coming with me, we're only going to do about 5 of them this time. So just lowering yourself down. Try to keep your knees out as behind your toes, or at least in line with your toes, almost down. Lifting up for 1. Lowering yourself down. Bring yourself almost to the chair. Coming up for 2. Come on, try removing your hands, bringing them out to the sides. For 3. Lowering back down. For 4. Last one, making your strongest, lowering down for 5 and holding it, maybe spreading your arms out in front of you, really getting into that chair pose, knowing that your chair is right there, so you just alleviate the pressure on your back. If you can get your chest to, or your torso to your thighs, awesome. Just letting yourself hang out for a moment for 3, 2, 1, have a seat. Forward fold, legs out in front, inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, spread it down, trying to get those toes. And back on up. Once again, getting it back into our legs. Taking the left leg in first, so the foot is planted. Right toes up. Shimmying yourself so you feel comfortable on the chair. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, folding on down, trying to spread yourself down your right leg. You always have the left one there if you need to put some support, but you're just trying to work into that right thigh, feeling it on the quad. Don't press too hard. You're using gravity, you're using your own body weight to just press yourself in. And back on up. Switching legs. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold it in, pressing on that leg. Just giving some pressure. I can actually feel this in my lower back. So hopefully you do too. If you don't, as long as you're not hurting yourself, all is good. And lifting yourself back on up. Do ankle rolls, leg lifts, and squeeze everybody in. See how we're feeling after that. We're trying to stay a little seated just to get to the joint mobility today. Something different. Starting with your right leg, taking your toes, making your circles as big or as little as you like. Once again, you should also feel this in your thighs and your hips. Circle as big or as little as you'd like. Reversing your circles. And lowering your foot down, switching to the left, inhaling, making your circles as big or as little as you like. Bonuses if you get a nice little crack in there. And one more in this direction, or do as many as you like, reversing the circle. And finishing off, having a seat. Getting into our leg lifts, we'll do 1 at a time, then we'll try for 2, because it's fun. Once again, it's about the movement itself. It's not about how many you can do. I'd rather have you do a few and keep the integrity of the shape as opposed to every single one possible and feeling it in your back because you're hunched over. So hands placed on the sides, lifting right leg out in front of you. Start on the ground, toes up, lifting up for 5, lowering down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back in. Felt good? Just making sure you're not like rolling over. I'll show you what it would look like if it was bad. Leg comes up. It's not about how high you can go. It's about being able to just lift your leg up. Now I have to do more on this side. So lifting left leg out in front of you, toes up. Lifting up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We did 2 extras on that side, so 6, 7, And just for good measure, making sure you're not doing the bad one. We don't need to be Rockettes. We're not Rockettes. If we were Rockettes, we wouldn't be watching this video right now. We'd be watching Nutcracker. So having a seat, doing, once again, this is the power move. If it's too much for you, I don't care if you lift an inch off the ground. Just try it out, see if you hate it. My kids are obsessed with this one show, and they do a song called a No Thank You Bite. So take a bite, and then you can say no thank you if you don't like it. So give everything a taste. So from wherever you are, you might need to put more pressure on your hands, but keeping your shoulder full back, spine nice and straight. Oh, that is harder. Just try lifting the legs. Ooh. See? Even I can't do it. If you can do it, you're better than me. But it's really in core engagement. So just try lifting. Try to keep back straight. Oh. Okay, you guys do as many as you want. Pulling in, squeeze in. So starting with your right leg, bringing it on up, squeezing in from the shin or underneath the thigh, wherever feels good. Just pulling it in, keeping that back strong. You want to take it farther, stretch that left leg out. Just enjoying. If you remember from last time, if you want, you can always take, in this case, since it's the right leg wraps, left arm wraps around, looking over to the right, hands on the back of the chair. This is a modified, weird take on a pose called Lord of the Fish, which would actually be a twist. So if you want to, you can actually put your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Just twisting over. Once again, spine is straight. And you did that. Letting it go. Switching legs. Left in this time. Right leg extends out if it's accessible. If it's not, don't worry about it. It's just yoga. It's just moving around. It's mindful stretching. Making you feel good. Or underneath the thigh. Once again, wherever feels good. Just holding it here. Don't advance yourself so quickly. You ease into it on one side. Don't rush it on the other. So once again, if this is it, awesome, you did it. If it's want more, right arm hooks around the left leg, hugs it in. So you can turn yourself to look to the left. Left hand on the chair for support. If this is good and this feels nice, awesome. If you want to take it farther, crossing the leg. Feels good. Which, by the way, just in case you're wondering, because it's fun to wonder, this is what it looks like on this side. Letting it go, swinging back on through. I think we did a good job. Do one more back stretch, our little modified bridge. Then we'll take our nap. Like I said, nothing too excessive today. Some days it's just nice to have that little movement. So once again, turning your chair, turning my chair so you can see me, rolling your shoulders into your back. Two options. You can take your hands, placing them on the spokes or on the middle. Just pressing back. Putting your head up as high as you'd like by rolling it all the way back. One, it might be just a hyperextension. Two, you're rolling your spine. If you want to keep your spine a little more straight, just taking it like this. If you want to go a little farther, take your hands behind the chair, interlacing them, pulling it back and down. Just finding what feels good. Releasing. I feel better. I hope you guys do too. Oh, just giving our bodies a second just to adjust to all the work that we've just done. Letting yourself let it go, laying back onto your chair, arms at your sides, legs splayed out. Eyes closed if you'd like. Just coming into your final resting pose, a chance to give your muscles a chance to realign themselves, take in all this new information, this new data, and letting yourself just be. As usual, you can stay here as long as you like. But for today, our time is done. So feel free to watch any of the other videos. Feel free to watch this one again. Feel free to send me back some feedback. So if you want to see something, we can work on it. Until then, eyes closed if you like, hands together, bow down to yourself in gratitude. The light in the honors light in you. Namaste. Thank you.